Greetings, Earthlings. It is I, Gabriel. This is the Rise Atlantis show. I know yesterday I said I was going to start the show at 8 today. The time changing, not of the daylight savings, but me changing the time because I get home late after work. I'm technically going to start at 8 tomorrow. That'll be 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 7 o'clock Western Standard Time. And the reason why I decided to broadcast today at 7 again was because I have to take care of a couple of things real quick. So that is why I will start broadcasting the show every day at 8 o'clock from now on. Sounds good. The lighting's good. Okay, here we go. We start off the show first with the 20-minute news, and then 20-minute the 20-minute talk, which is the topic of today. The topic for today will be alternative sources of energy and how we must rise and start this revolution to demand it from our government. Whatever party it may be, our government must deliver on cheaper alternative sources of energy. So, the first news story is Jupiter's stripes reveal stunning details in new Juno probe images. Okay. This is just one of the pictures. I mean, it's weird. It looks like a street, but it's on a planet. You know, don't that look like a street? Okay, so let's see here. We ain't gonna really talk too much on the articles, just like getting to the main parts. I wish they showed more pictures. Let me see here. Okay, so I mean, basically, it talks about stuff we already know. You know, Jupiter's a gas giant. So we'll go ahead and go on to the next story. Did you all hear that oldest human fossil has been found outside of Africa, discovered? Now this here, I believe, is the teeth. The teeth, right? Almost certain, looks like it. It's the oldest human fossil found outside of Africa. Now this could be proof of my theory that the Garden of Eden was in Africa. The Garden of Eden may have been in Africa. That's why, if you think about it, if you ever look at Africa, it's the most rich in freshness and greenery. It's even more fresher than South America. South America still has a lot of parts where it's like kind of desert area, and then they get too much storms because it's covered by the oceans. So Africa, they get more land, more diversity in the weather patterns, you know? And I guess that's what makes Africa flourish more. So Africa is the most greenest country in the world. And a lot of people see Africa as, you know, this forgotten land, which it really has by a lot of corrupt governments. A lot of people see Africa as this place that it's not that great. If you really think about it, they have the best atmosphere there. They have the best environment, the most greenery than any country in the world. So Africa has been a paradise since for so long, and this could be proof that the Garden of Eden was in Africa because it is the freshest, greenest country on earth. And this gives more proof to it because the oldest human fossil has been found outside of Africa. Now, outside of Africa, it's more or less around Africa. It's just like probably talking about like an island or something near Africa. Now, this wasn't the fossil of Adam and Eve, but this was the earliest known fossil known to mankind for over 50,000 years. Can you believe it? Humans have been around 50,000, maybe even 100,000 years. Does it boggle your mind like it boggles my mind to say how many people have existed? How many souls? How many souls are in heaven? There's a part in the Bible, I'm not sure who wrote it, but it said everyone before Jesus being born was not held accountable because they didn't hear the story of Jesus. Now I'm not sure if that's the case. It don't take a rocket scientist to know that killing people is evil, especially without mercy, especially if it's not in self-defense. If they just kill people for the heck of it, like Cain killed Abel, even if it's a heat of an argument, there's no reason to kill someone. If there's a heated argument, you walk away from it. You don't escalate it by raising words. You don't raise your voice, and you don't cuss. I know it's hard for us to not get angry. It's a human emotion. But it's something that everyone has to manage, and most people think, just beat them up and then they'll learn. That's not the case, because you know how they say beat bullies up and then the bullies will learn in schools? That's not the case, because a lot of times you beat people up in schools and they come back with the gang and they come after you. And what does it all lead to? It's not like a boxing match where once they go down, that's it, it's over. Fights escalate, and before you know it, there's weapons involved. There's knives, there's guns, and then people kill. They kill as a result of fights exploding too much. So yes, the kids in the schools do need to defend themselves, but at the same time, they shouldn't see as fights as a way to end arguments. You don't fight to end a fight. You only fight as your last resort. Only if you're getting severely beat down. And it's really hard, because how can you fight against a mob of people? If it's one person against another person, it'd be like David versus Goliath. A rock ain't gonna help us here. So if you're in a fight, make peace. That's the best. If you can't make peace, then you have to defend yourself. And don't defend yourself to the point of fighting back in severe violence. Just fight back to ward off the person and then run. I'm not sounding like a coward here saying run from a fight. Ain't nothing wrong in running from a fight, that lets them know that we want peace, So I know it's hard, people growing up in the ghettos, it's part of their upbringing. It's part of their environment. They have to deal with gangs. They have to deal with drugs. They have to deal with crime and all kinds of stuff, So I know it's not easy, trying to calm a fight, but it's something we should do, Jesus said, turn the other cheek when you get hit. Now, you can't keep getting hit nonstop, so it's not an eye for an eye either, It's a very fine balance. So, getting back to this here, humans have existed over 10,000 years. This was found 50,000. The carbon dating dates it back to 50,000 years ago. Isn't that something? So, it said modern Homo sapiens first migrated out of Africa around 60,000 years. migrated out of Africa. That's include the Garden of Eden may have been somewhere in Africa. Now, where could it be? You know, it would be nice to find where it could be. A lot of people have speculated before that Iraq, Baghdad was the original place of the Garden of Eden. I don't know where they came up to that conclusion. Maybe they found like certain geographical evidence. I don't know, but maybe it was maybe it was in Iraq. Now Iraq is close enough to Africa, so that's more around the same ballpark, you know. So let's see here. They said, what? They said modern humans could have lived 177,000 to 200,000 years. Can you believe it? People may have existed for over 200,000 years. That boggles my mind, you know. How many people are in heaven? Now, my theory is maybe heaven is made up of a colony of planets, a solar system of a bunch of planets. I don't think we can ever get there because it may be too far. It may be even in another universe, you know. There's a theory called the multiverse, where each universe is created through a big bang, and it's all being created like bubbles, you know, like a bathtub of bubbles, and it just keeps multiplying, you know. So imagine that. Imagine if our universe is comprised by millions, billions, trillions of other universes, and what if the process never ends? There's a scary theory is, what if the universe starts to slow down? Like, you know how it's expanding? What if it starts to slow down? And if it does, what if it starts to reverse in? And if it is reversing in, is it going to accelerate? And before you know it, just eliminate us, you know? And what would that mean in terms of heaven? Would heaven be eliminated? But I believe that our God is powerful, that he could stop the forces of the universe caving in if that theory is true. So, if a universe can come out of a big bang and expand and slow down and reverse, I believe our God is powerful enough to press it back open. Just like my theory is, just like God creates planets with his hands. He goes like this, and then with his magic, he forms the planets into existence. And then he formed the sun that way, and the moon. And then he spun it around to forever perpetual motion of an orbit, you know? And so that's my theory, that in terms of the multiverse, in terms of universal expansion, in terms of how many people have existed. Now, not all those humans went to heaven. There was a lot that went to hell. I estimate at least 20 or 30% of all humans that have ever existed, ever, of all time, are going to hell. The good news is a good 80, maybe 85% is going to heaven. It says, Jesus said, the evil people are known as the tares. They're tares. You don't bring the tares with you in the harvest, you throw it in the fire, you know. And we should not feel sad for evil people left behind about to burn. We should see it as that is their karma. You know, they want to be unrepentant murderers, they should burn. We should not feel sad for them. Now, the ones that have not been that bad and want to repent, you know, all our love goes to them, just like God is willing to forgive. But again, there's a level of forgiveness where it's unacceptable. Like Bin Laden, he killed so many people, and once that he's at death's doorstep, he says, "Oh, okay, Allah, I'm sorry if I did anything wrong." That doesn't fly, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist, like I said. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that killing people with no form of self-defense is evil, you know? I mean, animals do it because they have no self-conscience. They don't know right from wrong. So they just kill just to eat, you know? We are different from the law of the jungle, you know? We have consciousness, and they don't. Scientists want to start creating animals with human intelligence that can maybe even speak, that can walk and talk. That'll be half human, half animal hybrids, you know, humans that can breathe underwater, that can camouflage, that can fly, you know, that can live as trees and live thousands of years. So many things are possible with science. And a lot of people say, oh, it's science fiction, it'll never happen. But you never know, the science is almost there. And they may create all that soon, you know. So, in terms of heaven and hell, we should see Jesus' return as the most beautiful thing ever. We should not see it as doom and gloom. We should see our souls transcending to perfection, you know. And for all the evil people left behind, we should see it as that is their karma. May God have mercy on the wicked. May he forgive the most he can. But to the unrepentant murderers, the worst of the worst, we shed no tears for them, you know. The Bin Ladens, the Hitlers of the world, we shed no tears for them, you know. So that's basically that. Anything else about this story? That's a very interesting story here, because it relates to the Garden of Eden. It's somewhere around there. Garden of Eden was not in America, South America, not in England. Definitely wasn't North-South Pole, too cold. It was in, I believe, based on that story there, somewhere around Africa and maybe Iraq. I don't know where people draw that conclusion. Maybe they've done some research and they found proof of Garden of Eden there in Iraq. But Iraq is very close to Africa, so it's more or less same ballpark. So this next story, Trump said make tax cuts permanent now. Now, it gets confusing. Do tax cuts really help the economy? I feel it doesn't help the economy when the rich people are using company profits to buy more mansions, to buy more yachts and lavish trips all around the world. You know? But if they create more jobs, and they pump more money back to the economy, these CEOs can make more through their tax cuts, but in return they have to give back. And whether it be creating more jobs, raising salaries, pumping money back to the economy, giving to charities, whatever it takes, that's the only reason they should have tax cuts, you know? So the next story here, let's see here. Justin Bieber takes his mom to Hillsong Church after years of estrangement. That's cool. That's a nice story, you know. I heard recently on how Justin Bieber's mom hates Selena Gomez. She hates Justin Bieber for saying, how could you be so stupid to go back with her? You guys have fought so many times and you're going back with her? There's nothing wrong with going back to an ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, because making peace is the best thing you can do, you know, and that's really, they may be soulmates if they loved each other so much and they got in fights. They should see it. Maybe it's the demons trying to slide in and make them fight, you know. So it's not really one person. It's not really a guy or girl's fault if an argument happens. Maybe it could be the demons that are trying to possess us, you know. So that's a good story, you know. And I pray everyone out there, if you have divorced someone, to please reconsider about going back and remarrying that person, you know, to stay together for the kids, basically, you know. Ain't nothing better than keeping the family strong and going, you know. So I pray if this touches anyone out there to reconcile divorces, to get back together. If I can help that, then I feel, you know, I'm I feel that my work is being fulfilled and gratified. So the next story, I'm not sure about this. Google Home Devices program to recognize Muhammad and butter. Sorry about that, and Hindus. To recognize Muhammad and Buddha, but not Jesus. Now, it says Google Home Devices. Maybe this was not from the Google main people on the top. Maybe they were rogue agents in Google that tried stirring up a scene here, causing some chaos. So we should not blame all of Google for this. There's always rogue agents in every field, So I'm not blasting Google. I thank Google for creating the search, Google search. I thank Google for creating and helping YouTube and giving us hopes to our dreams of making money with YouTube through video monetization. So I'm all in favor of Google and YouTube. God bless you guys. You guys are really helping people out there. This next story. Atheists target Ben Carson over secretive White House cabinet Bible study. Now, it should not be secretive, separation of church and state, yeah, but we have our freedom of speech and religion, freedom of assembly. So he shouldn't have made it secret. For all we know, he could be using that Bible study as some kind of a secret society. You heard of the secret societies happening with the FBI? That's those new stories coming out. So Ben Carson shouldn't have had it secretive. It's not illegal to have a Bible study. They say separation of church and state all the time, but we have our rights as well, the First Amendment. This next story, he set himself up as a god. A look at North Korea's counterfeit trinity. Now I know that Kim Jong-un has a lot of glorification to himself. He has a TV show every day in the morning, afternoon, and night where people tune in and they all idolize him and they pray to him. So it is very weird. You don't see Trump doing that. So, Trump's really, not that bad of a guy, It's like with everyone else. Everyone's got their ups and downs, Fire at hospital kills 39, injures scores in South Korea. Maybe this could have been a plot from North Korea. Could it be North Korean terrorists? North Korea is planning to send their terrorists around the world, so that could be a sign there. Experts have found the last American slave ship. The last American slave ship, experts have found. Could it be glorifying slavery again? They need to remove every slave idol statue. Take it all down, Volunteers as security guards. New aims to fortify church in a violent culture. That's a good trend happening, The churches having volunteers as security guards. That's a good idea, Navy filing homicide charges against 2 commanders in ship collision that killed 17 people. Now, there's a lot of weird stuff happening in the news, and maybe those commanders caused the ship collision on purpose, just to do it for the devil, basically. A lot of people are doing weird things for the devil. Child death toll raises to 30 children succumb to flu, with a lot of flu activity to come. Now, this is weird how this is one of the main, biggest seasons where a lot of children are dying from the flu. Is something happening here? Is the flu getting worse? Could this be some kind of bioterrorism from terrorists? Now, this show isn't to scare everyone. If that's the case, if there's a bubonic plague that's going to kill millions around the world and in America soon, do not fear at all. Our Lord is returning to save us from any catastrophe to come, including a nuclear war. So don't fear the future. No matter what happens, as bad as it may become, global pandemic, nuclear terrorism, a nuclear war, remember, Jesus is returning soon to save us from all that. So have no fear at all and take 100% joy and comfort of our Lord's return. Senator Warner said, if Trump fires Mueller, it's uncharted territory. That would be crazy, right? Trump fired Comey, and what if he fires Mueller? You know, I mean, Dad saw his son's socks as he raced to school shooting and knew it was bad. I think his son was the shooter, yep. Brian and Teresa Cope dropped everything and dashed to Marshall County High to get their boy when they heard about this week's school shooting. Preston, 15, was greatly wounded in Tuesday shooting at Benton, Kentucky school. Okay, so his son was shot, and I guess he saw blood on his socks. So I thought that was the son of. I thought that was the suspect. Barry Sherman, Canadian billionaire, and his wife died in a double homicide, Toronto police said. Now it's weird. A lot of people are killing CEOs and even these holistic doctors. These doctors that are prescribing, alternative medicine like herbs and stuff like that. And even strong medicine that are not herbs, like chemicals, but they're no symptoms, no side effects. So it's weird how, they're trying to create cheaper medicine and people are killing them because the pharmaceutical company, they just want to get rich off it all, So a lot of holistic doctors are being killed because of that. And I think this is two more stories. El Chapo Guzman jurors have nothing to fear, lawyers say. Now, it's crazy. A lot of rich cartels, they try to kill jurors. So greater steps need to be taken to prevent against that. And the last story. Pay zero interest until 2019. There are 3 credit cards that are charging 0% until 2019. If I get this right, banks are now offering incredibly long periods of 0% interest and APR interest. If you're carrying a balance on a high-interest credit card or looking to make a big purchase in the coming months, it's time to switch cards and save money. Our credit card experts have hand-selected the below cards because of their 0% intro APR interest offers. These offers range from 12 months all the way up to 21 months zero intro APR. And the 3 cards, if I get this right, are there's Citibank. It's called the Citi Diamond Preferred card, 21 months balance transfer offer. So look for the Citi Diamond Preferred credit card. The second is the Citi Simplicity card, no late fees ever. And the third one, there may be more, I don't know here. Okay, it's showing more, I don't know what. I guess maybe they're different of the same bank, I don't know. But the third is Bank AmeriCard. Bank AmeriCard credit card. The fourth is Capital One Venture card. A lot of people heard of that one. That one, in my opinion, sounds the best because I've heard of that one. The Venture card sounds like a good one because if it has name recognition, that means it's good to me. So look for the Capital One Venture card for business owners. 0% interest until 2019. So look for the Venture card. I'm thinking that I'm going to switch to that one. I'm still going to keep Wells Fargo, and the other one I have, it's called First Convenience Bank, the ones in the Walmarts. So I have those. The ones in the Walmart's First Convenience, they never charge any monthly fees. For Wells Fargo, it's nice, even though it's a monthly fee, you make 10 transactions and you waive it, and it can only take $5. You buy 50-cent cookies from McDonald's, you buy it 10 times, comes out to $5. You got to do it different days because you can't do it all at once and take forever for them to run the card all the time. So you could do it that way. That's how I'm starting to do it. Or you can order through wish.com. A lot of their stuff has stuff for $2, including shipping, and a lot of it's really good stuff. So wish.com, that's one of the plugs I'll throw in there for Wish. Okay, there's the Blue Cash Every Day. I don't know. I haven't heard of that one that good. I don't think that one's good. It's from American Express, but Ventuer is, I think, the best one. Discover It is another one. Wells Fargo Platinum Visa. Discover It Cashback Match. Discover It Miles. That's good for travelers. And that's about it. So my opinion is go with the Venture card. Okay, so now that we got the news articles out the way, now we'll go ahead and dive into the topic for today, which is alternative sources of energy. Basically, right now is about the best time to mute the music. Basically, alternative sources of energy. You know, we keep paying for gasoline. And we keep hearing stories on how people are running their cars out of water, out of pure ethanol made from pure liquid corn is what ethanol is. So people are running their cars on water. People are running their cars on pure ethanol. I'm not talking about the ethanol that you see in the gas stores already, because those they like it's like 50% ethanol, 50% gasoline. You know, the pure ethanol is 100% corn, you know, and you need to alter your engine. You need to alter your whole vehicle just to make it run on that. And I'm not sure how much it could cost. I'm not sure the stuff involved, but I know that people that run their cars on vegetable oil, the smell is way too strong. You cannot even stand it. You know, the smell of people running their cars on vegetable oil, the stench is too much that even if you have your windows rolled up and your air conditioner's closed, you still smell it. And it's too strong of a smell that could leave you throwing up. That is why people don't run their cars on vegetable oil. So you hear stories of people running their cars on water, on wind. I mean, not wind necessarily, more water, but solar panels. But the thing about solar panels is you need a lot of batteries to run it. And it's not as simple as just one solar panel on a car will run it. With solar panels, you need a whole bunch of them, you know, and you need a whole bunch of batteries. So unless your vehicle is, say, an RV, then maybe you could put a whole bunch of solar panels on top and a whole bunch of batteries. But you still need to, if you want to go all electric, like I plan to do with my van, you need to invest into it, and you need to rig it up to make it run all electric. You need first an all electric motor, an all electric engine, and there's plates and mounters that I read that you need, and a whole lot of other like small little parts, you know. There's the golf cart batteries that electric cars run on. You use the golf cart batteries, you know. You can also use batteries from the forklifts. A lot of forklifts have already the electric motors, electric engines, you know. So you're looking around $3,000, maybe $4,000, but more around $3,000 to get an electric vehicle up and running, you know. So you see all these newer cars that they have all electric. I mean, why do they have to charge so much? There's no need for them to charge so much. If our government and the governments around the world, if they could create more incentives by one, driving down the prices to make it cheaper for everyone to buy these type of cars, drive down prices force the automakers to lower their prices. You know, every time people try to bring something out new, they always want to skyrocket it and make it so expensive. They want to milk it first. They want to get all the rich people to buy it first, and then when it's everywhere, then they lower the price. You see, it should not be like that. You know, to stop global warming, we are in an alarming point where they said even if we were to all switch all electric by tomorrow, the effects of global warming and our polluted skies would still take around, what was it, 200 to 500 years to clear out. So it's still trapped in the earth. It doesn't escape. It's weird. Most people think it does escape, but you still have the residue from it. You still have it in the environment. It's still there. It's invisible, but it's all there, you know. And most people think, oh, because since you don't see it, it's gone, you know, out of sight, out of mind, you know. But it's like a magician. While it's doing one hand, we know what the other hand is doing, and we see the deceptive magic tricks that the automakers and the oil companies are doing on us, you know. So it needs governmental support straight down from Trump himself. We need to tell him, talk with him to, one, get electric vehicles cheaper, and two, have all the gasoline companies switch from gasoline to electric. You hear a lot of times, oh, these gasoline stores that they don't want to allow electric cars because they'll go out of business. It's like with anything else. If you don't evolve, you die. So they need to change in the future, hopefully 10, 20 years from now, change from gasoline to all electric. You know, now it's confusing because imagine if we all have electric cars and we're all driving around everywhere. We're still creating more heat, which could create global warming more. But then again, there's no other better alternative. If we go with water, it's going to create too many storms and hurricanes, and maybe even more tsunamis. So it's better going electric than water, because if we put water in, we're going to be creating precipitation at alarming rates, and we're going to just basically flood the earth. So water energy, running our cars, our houses on water is not a good idea. There's so many companies putting millions, billions into water energy, and that is not the what's the word called? That is not the what's that word called where it's like the final conclusion of something? That is not the solution. That's not the solution. And then if you have wind turbines everywhere, again, it creates more catastrophic winds. So my theory is the solution is all electric. More solar panels in our cars and houses. That's probably why Trump is raising a tax on solar panels, because he wants for everyone to keep paying more for it. The time for paying so much for vital things like this must come to an end, you know? I mean, yeah, he was raising higher tariffs on refrigerators and solar panels on countries outside of America. I'm for that. But at the same time, you know, to say like to help the economy and keep the working here in America, when at the same time they need to make solar panels cheaper, you know, and they need to make the batteries, electric batteries, cheaper, you know. It should come straight from the government to us. Now, I'm not saying it should be free, you know, although I do say everything should become free or almost free, and through a selective, not selective, see, I had called it selective service work before, but now people say, oh, selective service means a draft, so I don't use that word anymore. I say job shifting, basically a systematic restructure of the workforce. So job shifting will create a utopia. You work a few days a month, you shift the job to everyone else on the ABC database of the city population, you know? Now we can make everything, if not free, almost free, do that way. But that will take time. So to advance towards that utopia, which we're not even looking that far because the world's in bad shape. And when human cloning comes in, if you make everything free, so will human cloning become free. And even if human cloning is legalized, people will pay into a healthcare option. With the healthcare will say you could clone yourself to live forever. You can hybrid yourself as any kind of animal. That's coming. It's coming very soon, you know, and that's why there's so much mystery shrouded in the healthcare bills around the world, because they could slide science into it, evil science in, you know. So getting back to solar panels, you know, it needs to be cheaper from our government. You know, they need to provide incentives for the gasoline companies to start dwindling away from gasoline and going more towards solar, you know. I mean, it's crazy. The only reason people aren't going all solar right now is because it costs a lot. That is why the government needs to make it cheaper, you know. And if they have billions to spend on a wall, then they should have billions to spend on making solar panels cheaper for all of us, you know. So it's a very drastic call to action to make solar panels cheaper, you know, because like I said, it's gonna take time for everyone to switch and do away with all gasoline. People may still be using gasoline 200, 300, 400 years from now. There'll still be those type of people that say, oh, I prefer gasoline better than all electric. Even if they pay more through all electric, they like gasoline better. What, they love the smell of it? Believe it or not, there are people that love the smell of gasoline. I mean, it's a weird smell. People get used to it and they start to love that smell. So it's very dangerous fumes and chemicals when you breathe it in through your mouth or nose. Very dangerous chemicals. You keep breathing that stuff in, day in, day out, without covering your mouth and nose, you could develop cancer in your body, you know? So you have to not breathe in those dangerous chemicals, you know? And a lot of jobs that work in the trash sector, they have to breathe in a whole horrible kinds of chemicals. They should have robotics that do it. Now, if the robotics, they say they don't want to replace workers, well, the workers could be operating the robotics, so they don't have to be breathing in those harsh chemicals. Because even though they wear gas masks, they still breathe into it. You know, they're the paper gas masks with the small holes, so you're still getting the chemicals in through your nose and mouth. They're not walking around in those hazmat suits with oxygen tanks in the back because it costs money, you know, and they want to do everything the cheapest possible. So they need to care about their workers and create some better form of gas masks, you know, one that doesn't have to require oxygen tanks on your back, but could work like it. It could be a mask, one that you wear, but it could work like an oxygen tank. And it could be very cheap if they create it right. So, like I was saying, a whole restructure of everything needs to happen. Restructure of the work sector, restructure of the industry and business sector, restructure of the government sector, you know, restructure of the environment and alternative sources of energy. Everything needs to change, man. It can't just be a few things. The whole enchilada needs to change. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, it's a very serious topic, you know. Alternative sources. I plan to run my van all electric soon, and it's not going to be easy, man, because it's a lot of money you got to save up for, you know. And money just doesn't fall from the sky, you know. We have to keep working at it. It takes years to make money, you know. So if I can get you all watching to I feel it's going to take more than calling and sending letters into the government asking for this cheaper alternatives of source of energy, cheaper solar panels. It's going to take more than calling and writing letters. If you can meet with people in person, if you can deliver speeches in the White House or the Capitol, the people that live in Washington, D.C., or people visiting D.C., if you can go and give public speeches in front of everyone, it will make the world a difference. So if any of you watching out there, if you could visit DC or if you live in DC, if you could give public speeches in the Capitol, and you could get on C-SPAN, you know, and hopefully even CNN, HLN, MSNBC, or Fox News, you know, it'd make the world a difference, you know. So you can help bring the prices of solar panels down, because that's what it's all about. It's all about solar panels. Solar panels, solar panels, solar panels. They were created from NASA when they were going out there in space. And a lot of people say, oh, maybe it was given to us by alien technology. Like, that's how we have other kinds of technology, you know, like nanotechnology, like circuit boards and stuff like that. And they said there was a metallic paper they found. You crumble it up and you open your hand and it falls back into a flat shape. So, you know, that's some kind of nanometal. Now, is that true? I mean, if that's the case, they could create that now, you know. So that was the other kind of technology, I forgot which one, that was different besides solar panels that came out from NASA in the space race. But a lot of Wi-Fi waves, a lot of signal waves, a lot of basically wireless technology came out from NASA as well. So a lot of people like to bash NASA and say, oh, it's just a waste of money. You know, it does create jobs. It does help the economy. And a lot of people like to say it's all a waste of money. But if you think about it, it has helped create us create a lot of technology we have today. You know, maybe we wouldn't have solar panels as mainstream if it wasn't for NASA. So we should give some props to NASA, you know. So that's basically the end of the topic for today. Now that it's 7:52, we'll go ahead and do a couple of EVPs now. The way I have the format of the show is so organized. You know, we start in 20 minutes news topics, 20 minutes talk, and then 20 minutes EVPs. Later on, I want to have the EVPs with summoning live apparitions in my backyard soon. And I plan to summon live apparitions in front of large groups of people here in El Paso, Texas, with a group with me. You know, I'll start off with meetup groups and then Craigslist, but it's gonna be more than that, because I spent so many years on Craigslist trying to gather people to summon with me, and no one's ever joined. You know, they see it like it's too out there, like it's too new of an idea. You know, everyone calls us crazy because we say, look, apparitions are gonna appear, and when it doesn't, they love to make fun of us, man. But when they start to see it and it starts happening, they know who is right. They know we have the last laugh, you know. So it's hard to gather people to summon with me, you know. And it's hard to summon in public because some places you need permits and this and that, and you can't summon in concerts, and it's very complicated. I wish it was all simple and easy, but it's not, you know. So later on, I'll incorporate summoning apparitions from God in my backyard soon. And I'm thinking the first day I'm going to try it is February 15th. The reason behind that is because that's when all those people hoax that face on the asteroid in Austin that I found was a hoax, that they gave proof they hoaxed it. And not just because of that hoax. The asteroid that hit Russia was February 15th, I believe, in 2013, around there. You know, I had predicted that meteor. I didn't predict it would hit Russia. I said that a meteor would hit the moon on that same day. It was the night before. And I based that prediction. And I rarely make predictions. And now when I do make predictions, I say, oh, it may. When I said that prediction, I say, oh, it's going to hit for sure. You know, I was going out on a limb, you know. And because I made that prediction based on a UFO I saw in the news. It was like the crescent moon, and there was like an orb next to it that kept going like like it was back and forth, like it was about to hit it. It's not on the YouTube videos. I'm thinking of putting that one in soon, but it's not on the Rise of Atlantis videos, but it is on my Facebook page. I'm gonna add that one that I saw on the Rise of Atlantis videos soon, and the Rise of Atlantis videos are on my link on the About section on this page. Scroll to the bottom, and you see Rise of Atlantis videos. So that's when I'm gonna summon the first apparition. Is February 15th, 2018, and I hope that the Lord Jesus and the Lord God, I hope they please bring an apparition forth. I'm not looking for an orb. I'm looking for something greater. Hopefully, like a cross of light appearing in the sky, something great. You know, I don't want it to look like these UFOs that people say are extraterrestrial. The same formation of the three orbs, you know, one here, and like one here, kind of like a 7, you know. I'm hoping something like that does not appear. I'm hoping something greater appears. But if that formation appears, I'll take whatever the Lord provides, you know. So we'll go ahead and do a couple EVPs, and we'll end it off with that. Okay, let's see here. I don't have the other phone turned on. It takes too long to start up. I'm just going to do 2 EVPs of this app here, and that'll be it. I forgot to start the other phone. I'm going to start loading up before I start. I wanted to do like 20 minutes EVPs. I'm kind of crunching it to around maybe 12, 13 minutes. I don't want to have the show go on more than an hour because I want the format to look like it's always 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, you know. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do 2. We'll go ahead and do 2 EVPs and we'll end it up there. Okay, now we wait about 30 seconds. So I will start the show tomorrow at 8 p.m. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 p.m. Western Standard Time. So it'll be 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, America. 10 p.m. on the East Coast and 7 p.m. on the West Coast. So please like, share, and subscribe. Tell everyone you know to like, share, and subscribe as well. Please, everyone, I need all the help I can. Please like, share, and subscribe. It means the world of difference. I beg of you all. Okay, so the CVP, it reads like an 8-ball, you know. You piece the words together, you know. So we have here the words. Okay, it says it says your passion has entirely diminished, and gratitude has demands. So it's saying what your passions has diminished and gratitude has increased demands. So basically, so what it's saying, it sounds like the ghosts are talking smack here. You know, we'll see who's right though when we see Jesus returning. You know, so we'll do one more and then we'll end it out there. Now, a lot of these ghosts like to talk smack. That's why I have to preview the words first, make sure it doesn't cuss. Because sometimes you may get cuss words that come out of these cell phone apps. It's very rare, but it does happen sometimes. But it's very rare. So I always have to check the words first before I air it. remember yesterday I got an incredible EVP on this one. It sounded like the angels of heaven were talking, and they said, "You rock. We are proud of you. You rock. We are proud of you." So wow. The angels of heaven, Jesus and God, they say, "I rock," that they are proud of me. That is beautiful, man. You know, we all want to strike it rich, you know, and we all have that dream, you know, that we can make it. We're all not looking to get rich overnight. We're all not looking to get rich quick. We do know it may take time, but we want to make it, you know. We don't want to get rich just for the notion of being rich, splurging on mansions and yachts. We want to get rich so we can give back to people. We want to live humbly in a decent-sized house, middle class, but we want to be financially free with a mortgage paid off and everything. But at the same time, we should not become greedy, and we should not become materialistic, and we should be humble and living middle class, even if we do become rich. So, if you become rich, make sure to always give back to people, to charities, to family, friends. Now, I know you don't got to give everything away to family and friends because they try wanting everything, you know. So, give a decent amount. Give back to churches, to community, to charities, create businesses, create jobs, do good things with your money. Don't let it have collecting dust in the banks. You know, millions and billions just there in the bank collecting dust. Free up that money and make more money with it, but help the good of mankind as well, you know. So we all have that dream of winning, you know, winning in life. Okay, so this next one here, it says, these words are so funny to piece together. It's like a puzzle. Put this one here, put this. Oh, man. This is fun. I love EVPs. I never get tired of them, man. You know? They are real messages from spirits of the divine. You know? Let's see here. It says, be proud and curious by your surprise. Huh. Be proud and curious by your surprise. Wow. Be proud and curious by your surprise. Look at that right there. I think what that means is how I'm talking about these apparitions that are going to appear soon now that I'm having the show and everything, that the Lord Jesus, the Lord God are going to bring forth great signs and wonders. And I'm not talking about the lying signs and wonders that was talked about in Revelation. I'm talking about the great signs and mighty wonders, you know. So we'll go ahead and end it off on that note. Wow. So to everyone out there, be proud and curious of all your surprises to come. We'll go ahead and end it off on that note. Oh, man. This show's amazing, I'm telling you. Please tell everyone you know. Hopefully we can make this the biggest prophecy talk show on YouTube. I hope I can monetize these views and make a lot of money with it so I could do good things with this money. So we'll go ahead and end it off there. God bless you all. Peace. Jesus is coming, yo. For sure.